I'm hitting these rocks, and I stop my car. And I realized I'm not on our road. So I put it in reverse, which saved my life because I hit that boulder. If I hadn't hit that boulder, I would have rolled down the gully into the fire.
Unaware her car was stuck on a boulder, Phillips called 911, panicked and crying for help. The car would not move. She was trapped. Phillips says she was transferred to another dispatcher who explained getting to her was unlikely. Making things even scarier, Phillips had been separated from her husband James, who'd already made it safely down to PCH. As she prayed for survival, she sent these heartbreaking texts to him. I love you. I'm in big trouble. I'm stuck. I don't know where I'm at. My car won't move. The fire, and the text ends there.
Phillips was worried the tires on her car would melt. Fire and smoke was all around her. She wasn't leaving without her dog. So she laid on her horn, honking to make noise. Patty Phillips told herself, I'm not giving up.
While this is all going on, my husband's down on PCH begging firemen to rescue me. And they're like, we won't go up there. It's too dangerous. And he finds a fireman named Malcolm, who I am trying so desperately to find from the valley, big guy. And he said to my husband had him by the collar, say, please save my wife. And Malcolm says, let's go. And he goes up and he goes, we might not make it, but we'll try.
About a half hour later, Phillips sees a fire truck coming toward her through the black smoke. It was her husband and the firefighter who she only knows as Malcolm.
I go, thank you for saving me. Thank you for saving me. He goes, we still might die. He goes, we're not out of danger. He goes, we still have to get past this fire. And he made it, but he risked his life to save mine. Like, that is a brave man, and he needs a hug from me. He needs to receive an honor like nobody else would come.
Phillips knows she can never repay Malcolm, but she wants to find him to thank him for rescuing her and for saving her life. And Pat, if you can believe this, just about 5 o'clock tonight here in Malibu, amongst all these hundreds and hundreds of firefighters, we were able to find LA County Fire Captain Malcolm Dix. Now, a couple of our KCAL viewers sent us messages about an old LMU magazine article about a graduate named Malcolm Dix. It is the same Malcolm. I called a fire station in Calabasas where the article said that he worked. Captain Dix is now at a station in Pacoima, but he is here on the Palisades fire. He called us and we connected here at Urban Search and Rescue headquarters in Malibu. We showed Captain Dix the story, which brought a tear to his eye. We also FaceTime with the woman that he saved, Patty Phillips, and she praised him again. And she told him how grateful that she is to be alive, and thanking him again and again for his bravery. She, of course, wants to meet him as soon as possible, but he is busy. Again, he is heading up the search operations here for the USAR team, Urban Search and Rescue, on this Palisades fire. Take a listen to what Malcolm Dix said about the rescue of Patty Phillips.
Oh, yeah. No, I told my kids, my wife about it. I didn't know if I'd ever see her again. And then about just your story aired, another story aired, and all of a sudden my phone blew up because my name, a lot of people don't have it. So I'll be excited to see her again and see the husband and the dog. And I'm just glad they made it out safe because unfortunately a lot of other people didn't.
So Malcolm Dix is stationed behind me here at the USAR camp in Malibu. He did tell Patty that he will be meeting her once this disaster is over, once he is off of this fire. Again, Patty Phillips just dying to give him a big old hug and thank him for all he did for her. So that is going to be, Pat, an amazing moment to see those two reunified. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Oh, you know, it already is. It has touched so much of us back here at the studio, Michelle, and your storytelling putting that together. Thankful to the viewers for people responding to you to find Malcolm Dixon. Yeah, he's a big guy. And so happy to be able to share these stories of hope. Thanks, Michelle.
Make this one simple change when filling out your FAFSA to cut your EFC and SAI in half.
Vintage vehicles Ed collected were completely singed.
Kind of makes things full circle that everything, started and ended right there. Everything about his life.
Dennis has come up here once to see what is left of Ed's home, and Dennis says coming here actually gave him a little bit of comfort. He believes on Tuesday night, Ed took out his hearing aid and was sound asleep in his own bed. And Dennis hopes Ed died peacefully in his sleep from the carbon monoxide before the flames engulfed the home.
You don't want anyone to suffer.
Especially when that anyone is someone you have countless fond memories with. Dennis met Ed when both were truckers driving the same route.
I think about running up and down I-5 and talking back and forth on the CB, solving the world's problems while everybody slept and getting the freight overnight from city to city.
Two best friends now separated by the fury of Mother Nature.
I think that when my time comes, if I can be half the man he was and go to the same place, then I'm okay with it.
You think he's up in heaven?
And oh yeah, I don't have a doubt in my mind about it.
Ed Crinlin was 94 years old. In Altadena, Kevin Nosebek, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
As family, friends, and the coroner start to identify some of the victims, we are getting a look at some of the lives cut short. So far, between the two fires, 25 people are confirmed dead. 16 of the victims are from the Eaton fire, and you can see some of their pictures right there. And here's a look at some of the victims from the Palisades fire. So far, 9 people are confirmed dead, and 4 of the victims have been identified.
People affected by the Eaton fire have filed a lawsuit against SoCal Edison, aiming to hold the utility responsible for what they call a preventable disaster. Eyewitness News reporter David Gonzalez takes a closer look at what the lawsuit claims and what's at stake.
Jeremy Gersey is shell-shocked over what happened to his beloved community in Altadena over the last week during the Eaton fire.
And I'll be honest, I was in tears. It was a very emotional experience.
Gersey owns property made up of 5 cottages, which he rents out to individuals and families.
When I arrived to the property, it's on fire. It's still on fire. There was gas still running to it. It had been all in rubble, and it looked like something you see in a movie.
Everyone made it out safely, but the 5 homes burned to the ground. Gersey has now filed this lawsuit against Southern California Edison for negligence.
Sure, I want to protect the livelihood of my tenants. I want to protect the livelihood of myself. I lost my life savings.
The lawsuit claims the power company failed to de-energize its overhead power lines traversing Eaton Canyon, despite a red flag, particularly dangerous situation warning.
We believe there's very strong evidence that the wire was ignited from something on their lines. The origin of the fire is directly beneath their overhead lines in Eaton Canyon.
The Metamatians also lost their home in the Eaton fire. They've filed a separate lawsuit against SCE.
Our electricity was on the entire day, even during those crazy winds until the very end. When we left, our power was still on. I don't know why Edison decided not to shut off the power.
Their lawsuit alleges SCE failed to inspect and maintain power lines and equipment, which they knew posed a danger.
There was this recipe for disaster where they're letting the foliage overgrow and dry. They're not maintaining the tower. They're getting warning after warning that this is a high danger area.
In a statement, SCE says, Our hearts remain with our community during the devastating fires in Southern California, and we remain committed to supporting them through this difficult time. Right now, Gersey is the only plaintiff named in this lawsuit, but Bridgeford says more names could be added. The lawsuit also alleges SCE has $1 billion in wildfire insurance. The power company says they will review the complaint once they receive it. David Gonzalez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
UCLA researchers are looking into the impacts of climate change.
What they're saying in a new report about how global warming's part is fueling the SoCal firestorms. Plus this.
This yellow Altadena home held 5 generations worth of family memories. It was destroyed by the Eaton fire 1 week ago today. I'm Annabelle Munoz, and coming up, we speak with 77-year-old Janice Jackson, who moved into that home as a teenager in the 60s.
Alex Bell, and over the next half hour, we're helping debunk misinformation following the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. The most destructive fires, the Palisades fire and Eaton fires, have caused unimaginable loss. The fires have claimed more than 20 lives, destroyed thousands of homes, and decimated the communities of Pacific Palisades and Altadena. Over the past week, there has also been a tidal wave of misinformation. As of this recording, CAL FIRE says more than 5,000 personnel are on the Palisades fire. Nearly 4,000 are on the Eaton fire. Emergency responders from Mexico, Canada, and many other states across the country have also flown or drove to California to help fight these fires and help pick up the pieces of what has been left behind. Now, there are rumors spreading online that those driving in to help have to stop at CAL FIRE in Davis to get emissions tests. ABC 10's Devin Truby visited the facility to ask what's really going on.
This CAL FIRE Davis equipment facility lot getting national attention on social media over what type of vehicle inspections happened here before sending crews to the Southern California wildfires.
All right, slowly release.
At this facility in Davis,
all right, good.
Every vehicle that's going to be used to fight fires for CAL FIRE is checked out. Staff making sure the vehicles going into dangerous situations are safe and not in need of repair.
Okay, you can stop. Go to the other side.
But last week, their workload grew as fire departments from Idaho, Washington, and Oregon made their way to the Southern California wildfires.
DOT inspection, it's a safety inspection, and they would either pass or fail. If anything failed, we would set them aside and a different team would start on those repairs. It could be anything from brakes, tires, leaks.
More than 200 vehicles were inspected, 29 needed some sort of repair, like new tires and oil leaks. CAL FIRE says inspection time averaged 45 minutes.
For the most part, everything was out the same day. There was a couple that we had to keep overnight just because we couldn't get parts.
But when CAL FIRE posted their efforts at the Davis equipment facility on social media, they were met with hundreds of negative comments. People upset that this slowed the response time of the out-of-state firefighters to get to the front lines. Others accused CAL FIRE of running emissions tests. Do you do emissions tests here on these vehicles before they headed to Southern California?
No, absolutely no emissions testing is done here. No emissions certifications are looked at. That is completely false. No vehicles got turned away. All of the 216 vehicles that we inspected continued their way down south.
The Oregon State Fire Marshal addressing the social media post that their trucks were turned away, stating it's false. No trucks were turned away, and quote, this equipment also does not regularly travel hundreds of miles at a time. Firefighter safety is our #1 priority. The disinformation spread so quickly, Governor Gavin Newsom addressed it and other false claims on the California Fire Facts page. CAL FIRE saying Davis was selected because it was on the way to Southern California.
We can confidently get them dispatched right away. We don't want breakdowns on the fire front. That just causes danger of public safety and firefighter safety.
CAL FIRE also says when other states respond to fires, California becomes liable for them. So they want to make sure they are safe. This is nothing new.
This is the third time we've done pre-mobilization inspections in the last 12 months. We did one for the Dixie Fire.
As firefighters help California, one rumor is going around that Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass declined New York City's offer to help, and that is not true. According to New York City's Mayor Eric Adams, New York City lacks forest fire certified personnel, which is what the request was for through FEMA. But the city has offered other aid to California, offering to send personnel to help manage the wildfire response. In a news conference on January 13th, Mayor Adams told reporters, quote, "They did not turn down anything from us. I don't know where those stories came from. That didn't happen." A spokesperson for Governor Gavin Newsom's office says California has not declined mutual aid, and there are over 15,000 firefighting personnel on the ground with hundreds from across the country, in addition to Canada and Mexico. There's also been a lot of finger pointing over the severity of these fires. Some claim these fires could have been prevented through fuel management techniques like prescribed burns. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen asked fire officials and experts if that's true.
In fiscal year 23-24, we treated 106,000 acres.
In an effort to curb wildfires, California aims to treat 1 million acres of land in the state each year. CAL FIRE plays a major role in these fuel reduction projects along with other agencies.
500,000 acres from the forest, the federal areas, and then 500,000 between CAL FIRE and then all of our local response areas. And to divide it even further, CAL FIRE's goal is to treat 100,000 acres every year.
CAL FIRE, the state's fire agency, says it met its goal for the previous fiscal year. This comes after Republican lawmakers criticized the state on Monday, saying California is not meeting its fuel reduction goals as fires continue to burn in Southern California, claiming lives and property.
There was a commitment to doing 500,000 acres a year in treatment. There was a partnership actually between the state and the federal government that the governor was proud to announce when it came out. We have gotten nowhere near meeting those goals.
The U.S. Forest Service is part of the state's partnership, and right now, part of the Eaton Fire is burning in their jurisdiction. As of October 2024, U.S. Forest says statewide it has done 3,500 acres of prescribed burns and more than 5,000 acres of mechanical treatments. The Forest Service says weather has played a big factor in trying to clear fuel in Southern California.
Southern California has not seen conditions appropriate for prescribed burning since last spring. So certainly we are not in any kind of condition in the southern half of the state to be looking at those prescribed fires now.
When asked if anything could have been done to prevent the destructive spread of the Southern California fires,
there's nothing. Let's just start with that. The conditions that we saw in Southern California last Tuesday were in above the 99.99th percentile of severity.
Environmental experts at Stanford University agree climate plays a major role in fire risks and management.
Even a large-scale fire break probably wouldn't have been effective in keeping the wildfire out of the communities. And once the communities are burning, the spread is from home to home, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the forest management.
While fires may be difficult to prevent, fire officials and scientists say homeowners can help minimize the spread by hardening their homes and property.
So far this fiscal year, CAL FIRE says that they have treated just under 50,000 acres. They have a public dashboard to help keep track of all their fuel reduction projects. And if you do want to check it out, we have a link on our website at abc10.com. Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump has slammed California's response to the fires. In a post on his Truth Social platform, Trump accused Governor Gavin Newsom of blocking water from flowing to parts of California affected by the wildfires and prioritizing fish over people. ABC 10's Luke Cleary has the details.
Guys, I need to show you how I'm only paying $38 a month for car insurance. You're not going to believe this. I was paying over $150 for car insurance. It sucked. I was getting ripped off.
Southern California, the governor coming under fire from the incoming president. In a Truth Social post, Trump said the governor, quote, refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snowmelt from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. We showed the post to the director of the UC Davis Center for Watershed Sciences and law professor Kerrigan Burke. Did Governor Newsom refuse to sign a specific water restoration declaration? And does such a policy or document even exist?